It's gonna be quite fun. We're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
So today it's gonna be a very interesting chat because we're gonna be talking about The Wolf and The Woodsman by Ava Reid. Reid. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name.
Reid.
Reid.
Ava Reid. Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone in the chat has read it. So we're going to begin with some spoiler-free overall thoughts of the book. And then we're going to go as deep as we can.
I think mine is grayer, by the way, than yours, Jane. I think yours is bluer.
Yes, it's like very blue. Yes,
Yeah,
like
it's
the regular
gray.
version.
Wait.
Yes, like the regular version is blue, like those colors. It actually looks
Very
the same in real life. Yeah.
Did you read like, the audio stuff or the ebook?
I did audio.
Okay.
I did the hot.
Yes, like I started physically and then I went to the audio.
Oh,
I hope you
go
feel
to sleep.
better.
Asthma attacks are just horrible. They really
Oh,
are.
that's amazing.
Oh,
yes.
Let us know.
I mean, you finished it before most of us. Like
yes, like
I started it on Wednesday, I believe, and finished it on Thursday. And
in the day.
Jane and Esme finished it today. And you, Steph? You did
I mean, technically, you all finished it more than I, but started it early in the month.
Okay, so Steph, what about the book in short? As you just said?
Wait, maybe we can open the book first, like to do our.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're opening.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Now we
Okay,
can start talking.
Yeah.
So I DNF'd it at 65%.
Oh, so far.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I tried so hard and I felt bad because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna host it. I should finish it. But honestly, it was putting me in a reading slump.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after I finished this, I read like 2 5-star books. So it's
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
It's fine.
It's okay, yes.
I've read a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And then I just kind of went online and like read other people's synopsis of what happened towards the end. But yeah, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, so like for me, if it wouldn't be for the book club, I would actually also DNF it. But like because I had the audiobook and because I don't know, like the second half of the book I already listened to it in audiobook, but I didn't pay as much attention. So like I'm in the state that if someone asks me what happened, I will be, what happened? I can't remember. But if you will start talking with me about what happened, I would be, oh yes, that happened. So like I listen to it and I know the end. Like in the end, I really concentrate to understand what is happening and everything. But like most of the second part, I just listened to it and just for today. But yes, it was a disappointment, unfortunately.
Oh no.
What about you, Esme?
I mean, is it my favorite book? Absolutely not. Did I still sort of enjoy reading it? From time to time, yes. It was a solid sort of 3-star for me. It's like not one of those books where I'm like, this is absolutely mind-blowing. But it was also not, I didn't hate it. I just had a lot of issues with certain things. I was like, well, this is not for me. And I think I would have loved it a lot more were I a lot earlier on in sort of my reading or were I a lot younger. And just getting into YA, if that makes sense. Like, if I would have read this at the same time I would have read The Hunger Games, I would have absolutely loved it. If that makes sense.
It does.
But, I mean, putting it next to some other favorites of mine, yeah, it doesn't quite meet those standards. What about you, Sasha?
So, if it wasn't for the book club, I would have DNF'd it because I really had a hard time reading it. So that's why I was actually reading it while listening to the audiobook to try to actually focus and to remember things. But overall, I did not find this book memorable, I want to say, like, which is weird. And also the fact that it was compared to The Bear and the Nightingale, I expected so much, like, I expected something so much more like atmospheric or whatever, because I loved the Winter Night series. And I feel like it was bad to actually compare that book to that. I enjoyed some dark parts of it because it had like Jewish and Hungarian like mythology, etc., and I enjoyed that. But overall, I feel like it was a bit too, which is weird for me to say, but fairy tale-esque. How do you say that? Because every time we were reading about a fairy tale, usually I would care for that, but here I just didn't care. I don't know what was. Just didn't care for the tales or even the clappers. I was just like, okay. So I still don't know if it's like 2 stars, 3 stars, because like I was sure it was 2, then 3, because there is nothing bad with the book. That's what bothers me. I just didn't click. Like,
I mean, sometimes it doesn't grip you.
yeah.
That's not boring.
Yeah. There is just one thing that when I read it, I was like, yuck. Ugh. I'm going to tell you a spoiler.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of those moments for me. I mean, I don't
it
know what you
actually
mean.
it was pretty gore, which
Yeah.
I can respect. Like, I actually was okay with it. I think that I pretty much agree with Sasha about liking the mythology and like the world. I really love the fantasy element, not the fairy tale, but like the fantasy and the wolf, and that they wear the wolf on their head. Like, I love the fantasy, but I started to read the book and I can't really find bad things to say about the book because it wasn't bad, but I just didn't felt anything for it. Just didn't feel, I didn't connect to the characters. Like, honestly, as a plot-driven reader, I would prefer the start to be much more character-driven, because I felt that the start, like when they took her, all those 2 chapters, it just felt to me so quick. And I felt like I didn't really connect to the characters. And then when she was taken, I didn't care for her. Like, I didn't really care. I feel like this was my main problem, that I didn't care.
Also, can I just say how exclusively tiny, I am holding the book upside down, the font is? Like, the font is tiny. Like, it's so tiny. Can you see how much is on a page? And I remember...
How much pages your edition?
Like 400. But if it were a regular sized font, it'd probably be about double of that. But it's very huge.
Mine is like this. It feels like it's not... It's pretty tiny, but not tiny.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's really, really tiny. And I completely forgot that I had to read this book. So yesterday, or like the day before, I was like, maybe I should read this book. So I read it about one day. And the chapters felt so long.
Yeah.
They were long.
I'm glad I didn't buy it because I would have been really sad. It's just like, the pain.
Yeah, for me, it's an Illumicrate monthly book, so I would have gotten it anyway.
Yeah, I actually love the cover, and also like the physical book is so fluffy. So like the edition I love, and I got it, and I was so excited to read it because it just feels so pretty. But like, just a pretty book on my shelf that I didn't like.
Yeah, I should maybe share the live on the Discord. Has anyone shared on the Discord?
No, I can do it now.
We can do that now.
Let me...
I was like, wait a second. Do we do
That's a really good point, Steph.
Yeah. But yeah. But let us know in the chat how many stars you give the book.
Yes.
I'd be curious to see like if there is any 5 stars, because I know Gabby and other nerd things. I forgot her channel's name. Gabby, with whom I have the read along for the Fifth One, The Fallen. She actually loved it.
Oh,
really? Oh,
that friendship is over now.
No, but I was like, okay, so I'm probably gonna love it because we have like like for that kind of books, usually we have similar tastes or whatever. And for this time, it really didn't work for me. But yeah.
I mean, Jane and I agree on this, which is strange.
Yeah.
Not that strange. I feel like we found like I think that contemporary romance are pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
Esme? But anyway, that's beside the point.
No, I was really hoping that you guys were gonna love this, and I was like, oh no, I hope it works for someone, even though I just feel sad.
I mean, I
shared
can't
it
say
on,
that I love
Discord.
it. Oh, awesome. I can't say that I love it, but I also don't hate it. Like, I don't think if I would have read this myself, I would have DNF'd it at this point and then probably picked it up at some point, and I would probably have finished it. Not
Yeah.
because I think it's mind-blowing or because I love the ending or, well, I love the characters, but because I would want to know how it ends.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It's on the one of the categories for a Goodreads Choice Award.
And
It
yes,
is.
the fantasy.
Yeah, I was so surprised. After reading it, I was like, really?
Yeah. Same, like I don't want to say bad things about the book because again, I don't feel like it was really bad,
Yeah.
but I don't understand why. But like on the other hand, I also didn't read most of the other nominees, so I can't really compare. Like I don't
Same.
know.
Mm.
Same. The only two nominees on that list that I've read, I've DNF'd, and I'm just like, ah.
Oh, wow.
Which ones were?
The fantasy. I'm actually looking
Yeah.
now to see who are the nominees.
Yeah, this one and She Who Became the Sun, I also DNF'd.
So many
Which
people
is
love
very
that.
surprising.
I mean, there's a couple in like there's two favorites in there of mine, so that's good.
Mm.
2.5.
Which are?
Yes, actually,
We Free the
didn't
Stars, of course. I mean, no surprise there. We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. Best duology in the world, besides The Wrath and the Dawn. Namesake, and I really loved Six Crimson Cranes.
I haven't read any of those.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean the fantasy.
That's the best young adult fantasy, sorry.
Ah, young adult
Is it the young
fantasy.
Or was it?
Wait, where's the fantasy? Oh, there's the fantasy tab. My bad.
Let's see.
Did I read
Yes,
any
so-
of those?
Yeah, so like the Wolf and the Woodsman
No.
is in the fantasy, not in the young adult fantasy.
Yeah, I found it.
Specifically
Sorry
in the
for that.
fantasy. Yeah.
I have some on my TBR. Does that count?
Oh, I had so many DNFs here. I already see in the young adult fantasy.
Oh,
Actually, the young adult fantasy is like a lot of books that I didn't love.
Which ones did you DNF? Just FYI, I'm curious now.
Lost in the Neverwoods, The
I love
Gilded
that
Ones, and I would DNF A Sky Beyond the Storm if it wasn't for the read along. So like,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Okay, we're
And-
learning
and-
about our tastes. It's
And
fine.
there is Our Violent Ends here, and I DNF'd those Violent Delights. So yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Also, quick, just beside the point, can everybody just vote for the Spanish Love Deception, please?
No, it
Yeah.
happened one summer. It happened one summer. It's the best
No,
romance ever.
no,
It
no.
happened one summer. I
No.
love this book
Oh,
so
no.
much.
No!
It's like the best. Wait, so are we talking about this?
yes, we should.
All right, we're getting back to this guy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are things that we could? I mean, something that I did really enjoy about the book,
Yeah.
staying in the non-spoilery section, is the atmosphere from time to time. It's like the way in which some of the woods were described, and the especially in the first half of the book when they're sort of trekking after the event. I don't want to spoil anything, but after that first sort of big event, and they're trekking through the woods, that bit where they sort of go up to the north, I think that there's some points in there where I did really like the way in which sort of the nature was portrayed there. I really like the imagery there.
Yeah, I agree with the nature part of it. That was like the scenes I liked to read about, but whenever we were among people, I was like,
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling. Yes, I actually feel like in the start I was a little bit disappointment from the atmosphere. Like I was really disappointment just from the really first few chapters, and I feel like this is why I like the idea was really interesting to me, but something in the atmosphere, in how the fantasy was described, in how we understood the main character's feelings didn't work for me, and I feel like this what made me not really want to keep reading. But like in the start, I was disappointment from the atmosphere, but I agree. Later on, in the woods, especially, yes, like the writing itself was good. I just feel like the writing was good. I didn't connect to it.
Yeah, I feel like we keep seeing that. Like it wasn't a wrong book, like it wasn't a bad book, we just didn't connect. But also that's the type of book I feel like should have trigger warnings at the very beginning, because
Yes.
we touched to so many, like so
It was very gore.
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was even like I don't know if any of you consider like trigger warnings like spoilers or whatever, but they were no, so we can name
I
them.
think that you can always, if you don't need trigger warnings, you can always skip it. Like I don't have spoilers, so I usually tend to ignore trigger warnings and like to read it without looking which trigger warnings there are. But I do agree that those kind of books needs trigger warnings. And I didn't understand if the book was young adult or adult, and it's a young adult book that is very gore. So I feel like you should need trigger warnings in the beginning of the book. I really agree with it.
Yeah,
But this one is adult.
It's adult, right?
Is it adult?
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those books that needs to be in. This is why we need a new adult category.
Yeah, so
teen and adult, like ages like 19 to like 22, like college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree that new adult would work for this one better.
Yeah, but new adult, when you talk about new adult, that's a different genre you have in mind. You know what I mean? I feel like
yes, like new adult is supposed to be an age group, like it's supposed to be 19 until 20 something. So like it's supposed to be new adult, but I can get what you are saying. Like usually when someone says new adult, he talks about a steamy book.
Yeah,
exactly. I think the main protagonist is 25, right? Like the main protagonist,
she's
they're
25.
both 25, I think.
Yeah.
But she didn't really feel like 25.
She didn't feel like,
she felt like 16. And he felt like 30.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, can I just say that there was a total lack of wolf in there? Like, this is probably Sasha's point, but there's a total lack of wolf in there. Like the only wolf you see, like there's one wolf one living one that you see, and then the rest are all just wolf skins.
Yeah, I was really disappointed by that. I expected like we're gonna talk about like that in the spoiler section, because saying that it wasn't that is a spoiler. But yeah, I was disappointed by that.
I know that there's, like we mentioned before, that there's a lot of folklore that is mentioned in here, and I'm not familiar with any of the folklore, which I was hoping would be a positive for me because I don't really like retellings. So being that I'm unfamiliar with the origins of the folklore that was mentioned, I was kind of going in blind, like, okay, I'm just going to take this for what it is without connecting it to any of the other stuff. But I feel like maybe there's a possibility of someone who's very familiar, or if this comes from originating in their culture, that they might appreciate this more. I
just feel like there was a lack of explanation in general.
Yes, I did. Like, I'm very...
Like there were a lot of things that were not explained.
Yes. I feel like the fantasy was so interesting to me, and it wasn't really explained. And it's based on Jewish and Hungarian mythology. Like Sasha said it in the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm pretty familiar with Hungarian mythology because I love everything Slavic. I know Hungary is not, it's not Slavic, but it's still like in that neighborhood,
in that region.
Yeah, so I like these were the times where I felt connected to the story just a little bit because I knew about it, but I had a hard time connecting all the dots to the stories because I feel like we had Hungarian mythology, but Jewish history, and not especially mythology.
Yeah.
So I
Yes,
was like,
I'm really familiar with Jewish mythology, and I didn't really felt like there was really Jewish mythology, like
no,
at
I thought it
all.
was history
Yes,
with
yes, I
discrimination.
agree with it. Yeah.
Also, the sort of multiple different sort of religions in there just don't make sense. Like,
Yes.
probably at some point one religion started as this and then sort of branches out, but this just like there was no like I don't feel like at least I missed the connections as well.
It was about the old gods and the new gods, with the pagan praying the old
Yes.
gods, and
Mhm.
they branched out to the new gods, and there were like 3 or 4 different like beliefs next to them,
Mhm.
like modern ones. But I guess yes, it wasn't that well explained. I mean, in my opinion.
Yes, I also feel like this was explained, but the other stuff didn't really connect. So, like
Yeah.
the main element that there is like the believers and the old and the new gods was explained, but it didn't really. I wanted more, like from the fantasy.
And I agree here with like the writing that was just so repetitive and really started annoying me after a while. She just kept saying the same thing over and over again. I
I
felt
agree.
that's why the main character felt to me like 16.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I agree with this so much. Yeah, she felt a lot younger, but also there were a lot of things, like even tiny things, that were just not wrapped up. Yep, same.
I expected something from the Wolf Girls.
Like it's not even like it's not even explained why.
Yes, it's like they put a wolf skin, which I didn't understand why. Maybe it was explained and I missed it. But like, understand that they call them the wolf girls because the wolf skin. But why do they have wolf skin? Just because it looks cool? Like, what's the reason?
But I don't know, but some people were like saying that at the very beginning it had to do with a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. Is
That's
that
what I thought, or I thought I heard.
Yes, so
So
Could be correct, yeah.
yeah,
so
it's
that's
logical.
why skin instead of the red cape or whatever.
That's not reason enough
Mm.
to me. That's
Yes,
not-
it's like it wasn't explained enough.
No, because as we said, in the Little Red Riding Hood, we expect wolves.
Oh, it's actually on a list of Little Red Riding Hood retelling, so it might be. But
I think it
in
was
that case, it's very loosely based.
Yes,
it was a
very
very
loosely.
strong retelling and rewriting because we couldn't see the similitudes. Yeah.
If you want an actually good Little Red Riding Hood retelling, go for Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. That one's a lot better and closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like
Somehow
how
I
the
really
sets
agree
were
with you.
incorporated.
Also,
Yeah.
for those of you wondering, this is not me. This is my partner in crime. This is Femke. This is not me just making
I'm
my
so
own.
used to it that I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, I thought I would just quickly point it out. I feel like we do this on the daily, but that's fine.
but I really agree with that because usually I love when we get to know the world, the beliefs or the way they live, etc., through the character's point of view, but not because they're always telling us about a story. You know, I feel like sometimes it is easy to just tell a story instead of incorporating the story within the point of view, if that makes any
Yes.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with you.
Pagan, Christians, Jewish. Yeah, Jewish.
Yes, it's more logical that it was just an allegory, but yes, I just feel like it wasn't really explained and connected properly, like all the ideas and everything that happened in the book. Just something wasn't explained good enough. Like for me, usually when a book starts to be really hard for me to understand because it wasn't explained good enough, I don't enjoy the book. And that's why also in the second part of the book, I just listened and didn't really understand a lot because things got already so much confusing and so much happened, but not happened. Like it was just not logical to me anymore.
Yeah, we love diversity, but when it is well done and you see a purpose of it in the books. Here, I feel we had so many things going on, so many different beliefs, so many different, like, I don't know, customs or whatever, but we didn't see the point of having all of them explained. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and at the same time, you wanted explanations because you wanted to understand it. But at the same time, it felt weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It may have something to do with the different original tribes in the area where Ivike's village was. Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
Also, I feel like I missed a lot of the like there were so many different sort of types of people. So there's her own village, and then there's the Juhili or something. I think that's
Yeah.
how you pronounce that. And then you have the sort of the main, I don't even know, Patri something. I can't pronounce it to save my life. And yeah, there was all of these different sort of backstories that there was just too little pages for too much backstory. If that makes sense. Like, too much. There was, yeah.
So this would have been better as like maybe a duology,
probably.
Yes.
Or maybe even like a longer, selling itself as a longer fantasy book, so we can get more space.
Yes, I personally would cut a few of the backstories and a few of the characters and make it more long and more character driven. Like, as a plot driven reader, I think it was too plot and not enough characters. Like, to the plot, like to the, I just felt that you can take the characters, most of them, and just replace them with another characters and it will feel the same. Like, yes, so I feel like I wanted to see more emotion and I didn't felt many emotion.
I mean, we got some other emotions.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say anything that's still non-spoilery, or we can move on to the spoiler section of this conversation.
Did we go over ratings?
I don't think so.
Did we go what?
Did we go
ratings?
Everyone give their rating, or maybe before we go around?
I think we could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for spoilers. I mean, if I had, even though I DNF'd it, I would say if I had to give it a rating, it's not bad like everyone was saying, so I might give it a 2, just like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, mine is a 2. It's like, I wish it was a 3, but I didn't like it. It's not bad. Like, it's definitely not 1. You have story and pretty writing, but it was a 2 for me.
Yeah. Esme, you say a hard 3, right?
Yeah, I think I would say 3 because other books that I would have rated, like that I have rated a 2, I definitely enjoyed least, like less than this. Like it was okay. Like it's definitely closer to a 2 than a 3, but it's I would say 2.5.
Yeah, same for me. It's like 2.5. But I still don't know if it's 3 or 2.
Yeah.
Because what bothers
2
me
was
is
a little too low. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it feels like it's bad. Usually when it's 2 stars, something really bothered me that I couldn't read the book, or it annoyed me so much, whatever, that I was mad at the characters or mad at the story. So 3 feels also that the type of book that, oh yeah, I enjoyed it, but that's it. So I'm just like...
I was mad at the execution, so like I don't feel bad giving it a 2 because it felt to me like other 2-star rates that I read this year, unfortunately.
2 stars?
2 stars.
2, maybe 2.5 stars. Yes. So I'm quite surprised that we kind of feel the same way.
Yes, because I actually went into Goodreads and I saw a good amount of 5 stars. So like I'm glad that I'm glad that other people see it. Like I'm going into Goodreads now. I'm pretty sure that I saw a lot of yes.
Yeah, many people that I trust give that book 5 stars. I'm not sure I trust you anymore.
My trust has been depleted.
But yeah. Okay, so moving on to the spoilers. Everyone,
Yeah.
thank you for being here. If you were just listening to our overall thoughts, now we're gonna go into spoilers. So be warned. Yeah, thank you for being here. Bye bye. See you when you read the book.
Bye bye.
Now, okay, I want to just say the thing that I remember from the book.
Go ahead.
Yes.
The crown made of nails.
I love it.
Wait, that's the first thing that disturbed you? What about the guy his arm being severed off out of nowhere?
No, actually, what disturbed me
Skulls
was
being
the
eaten.
sacrifice of the animals. That
what?
threw me off. And then that crown. I was
Was
like,
it late in the book?
I was so
what?
I was so intrigued from the crown, and I liked it. I very liked it. Like those are.
Was
What?
that like I this book went out of my memory like as soon as I did so I'm like
There was
that
the crown.
later or was that in the beginning?
It was
It was
later.
it was later, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it was like
that part.
the king had a crown that is made of the nails of the wolf girls that he like brought to him from their city town. So like the point, from what I understood, it's to take the magic from their fingers, right? Like I understood it right.
Yeah.
So this was those gore elements that I really loved. Like when I think about it, I do think that maybe the story could be a fantasy horror if it would be more slow and more character driven. I would like the story was very gore. And if it was a little bit more atmospheric and a little bit more horror, I think that maybe it would suit this type of story even more. Like I'm just thinking about it now, but I actually enjoyed the gore elements. Like it was such an interesting idea, a crown of nails. Like when you didn't like it.
No, am I understanding this right from this comment? Fingernails?
Yeah, fingernails.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
I agree with Jane. Like the gore elements that we had that I read were my favorite elements because I remember being in the chat like, oh, we have zombie chickens, awesome! Like these were so cool. And then at some point she cut off her finger. I don't know, it was great. But other than that, I was so bored. I don't know.
Sasha, what do you think about the crown? Because it seems like maybe you didn't like it.
I mean, imagined like a crown with dirty fingernails on top of his head.
Me too.
Sorry. And I was like, and then the other one was like, no, a crown has to be made of gold. And I was like, I don't know. I found it disgusting. It was fitting, but come on. Can you take something else? I don't know. But yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's why I thought now that maybe it would work better as a fantasy horror because we came into the book reading fantasy and it was very gore. And I do think like that the gore elements were suitable for the story, but maybe the genre wasn't.
Yeah. I don't know. It gave me like when we were talking about the kings and the fingernails, like blah blah blah. I pictured the Cruel Prince for some reason.
I can get why.
Yeah.
I was like, this is giving me some fae vibes, whatever. Like they're not fae. What are they? These creatures? Yeah, the faes.
Yes, the fae. Actually, was while I was reading the book, the plot, like something in the structure of the plot really reminded me of Court of Thorns and Roses. Like all the time that I read the book, just something felt there like Akutar to me. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes, like also the plot in the end that they take them and they try to kill them and they need to prove themselves. I don't know, like everything that happened. It reminded me a little bit also the end of Akutar and like how everything started, that they are taken from their village, also in Akutar. Like, I don't want to say spoilers for Akutar, but it really reminded me.
So I haven't read Akotar, so I don't really know what you're referring to. But Akotar is also about like romance, right?
Yeah.
Because here we had hate to love romance kind of thing, which is something I usually enjoy.
Yes, me too, usually. I think that all the book community is pretty obsessed with this trope.
Yeah.
The thing with the hate to love romance is that I feel like it happens so fast here.
Yeah.
Like my
Everything.
girl was so thirsty. She was just...
Everything happened fast. Wait, there was that scene with the juice in the man's mouth. What it was? Like,
What?
actually listen to it. And they had like blood or juice in their mouth. Like, I didn't understand what happened in that scene.
Yeah, the one with the I think I really those scenes like with the monsters or the creatures, like whatever creature that was, I really liked that scene. The one it was kind of like a vampire in the woods.
Yes, something that
Yeah, and then it bit her, and then she starts biting his neck and drinking his blood, and I was like, okay, we're getting some vampire smut, fantastic. And then it just ended, and then it turned into something about juice. I'm like, wait, what?
And they kissed with the juice in their mouth.
I was so disappointed.
Yes, like I actually think about it. It could work really good as a horror. Just make it more character driven and more long.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I don't know, it was something.
Yeah. So from what I understand, we loved everything that made the book atmospheric and horror-ish and gore-ish, but not the story of the characters, right?
Yes, not the characters, not the plot really, and not the pacing. I really didn't love the pacing.
Also,
the pacing was weird.
Also, me as a me wanting happy endings in books, unless characters are dead, because then it won't happen. How the heck can you write an epilogue where one of the characters just goes, well, at one point you'll probably get a bride, and the other goes, yeah or not, who knows? Like, come on!
Yes, yes, the epilogue was
like, what the?
I don't have problem with open endings if it feels right, but I just feel that everything with the pacing and the plot itself didn't feel right for me.
No.
Yeah. So
Definitely
to give some
not.
context to Steph, who hasn't finished the book, at the end we really have just an epilogue, whatever, and we know that something happened between like our two main, like Gaspar and Evike or whatever. But at the end, he's just like, who knows if I'm gonna get a wife? Who knows if I'm gonna get kids? You know, it was.
They had like a really cringy conversation that she said something about him getting a wife, and then he said, "Oh, who knows? I might give the crown to someone else in my family." But like, it was really cringy. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was visiting her at her village, and everyone was like prepping everything for them to come and blah blah blah. Oh, it's been a long time since we saw each other. Blah blah blah. It was just so weird out of the blue. I didn't understand that.
He had the crown when he came to the village.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the king is dead.
A different crown.
Oh, yeah. Not the nails one. The king died.
No, he's king. He's king. So he's
the king.
Own crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not an nailed one.
Wow.
An actual one. Yeah. So like, which is logical. Like you have a cool king. Of course, it's a fantasy, and he's going to die.
Yeah, I'm also really bothered by the fact that Gaspar never really explained what happened to the other wolf girls that were taken. We can extrapolate a lot, but I would have liked to know for sure.
Especially because they talked about it a few times in the story.
Yes.
Like if it was mentioned once, but it was mentioned a few times.
Also, the fact that they actually at one point they when they first see the crown, she literally says something along the lines of 14 have been taken, including me, but only 12 fingers sit on top of that crown. So I was like, is her mother still alive then?
Yes, there was something
missing. And I was like, that would have been like the perfect sort of twist somewhere. That
I mean, she already got a father.
What?
She got her father.
Yeah, that was also just not great.
Yes, like I love the
Sorry.
idea. I didn't love the execution.
Also, who the heck learns the entire alphabet in a night? That's very unrealistic, people.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Technically, there was a scene like that without being in spoilers in She Who Became a Star.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
But those were like totally different circumstances, so it was like slightly more understanding. Here.
I mean, you DNF Torch Against the Night, so anything you DNF, probably 5 stars for me anyway.
It's like this one.
Well, I just want to say that in the previous live, Sasha and I didn't enjoy Mexican Gothic, but you both did. So
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah,
We're 1 for 1, Esme. I'm gonna be high five.
I mean, I still love you, even though you hate my favorites. I still love you.
I love you too.
You can hate on my favorites all you like. I mean, I'm cold and dead on the inside anyway. So
Watch when we come out with our like best books of the year videos. Watch how opposite they're gonna be. I love it so much.
we should do like we should actually FaceTime when we're filming and be like, Esme, what do you think of this favorite? Well, that's a DNF from me.
Okay, so question, would this have been better if we got Gaspar's point of view also?
Yeah.
yes. I guess like
this guy just has no personality. Like usually, like I found Nandor incredibly important and interesting because I was like, at least he's doing something. And Gaspar's just like, I will beg on my knees for you, and then in the end, maybe pick a different bride.
Yeah, but
I will not get over this.
Because maybe of like Evike, because we couldn't connect to her, but maybe we would have connected to Gaspar. I don't know. Like I feel like
fair.
I would have loved it.
Yeah.
Maybe we would have done some explanations on what happened to the wolf girls, on why he was so scared for Evike, etc., etc. So
yeah, it would have been nice to get some, maybe in his head a little bit, to get some clarification on things, because I feel like the author was trying to make him a himbo, but he was so bland to me.
What does that mean, a himbo?
Himbo is like a guy that is like he's really simple, and like he's not a, how do I put this? He's cute, but he's also like, are you really a hero, or are you just here for like big cuddly support, and you look like you're supposed to be big tough, but you're really a softie on the inside?
So I actually looked at the definition of a himbo, and it's really funny and attractive, but unintelligent man.
She wanted to put it in a nice way.
I just read the definition.
I salute you, Steph, for trying. Trying times.
Yeah, it's like a really simple guy who's, he's just a sweetie.
I just felt like the author tried, okay, let's make a guy hot. Let's make him not speak. That's hot. Let's make him really, really not nice. That's like every fantasy author out there.
Listen, side note, I love The Witcher, and that is like the one show where I'm like, please stop talking, you're hot, but don't talk, just be quiet. But anyway, that's
No, yes, it really depends, like on the movie, the book, the situation, everything. But yes, like the type is a very familiar type.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, also the fact that he just kept on going about how she's a sin to him, and I was like, well, that's just great to hear from someone who ends up loving you. Like you're my sin. Okay, great.
Yes, it was romance, but not very romantic.
No, I mean, also you're like, if you're in love with him, you would never say like, oh well, you have to get a bride at some point. Like, I'm sorry. So
No.
I feel like it was just convenient for
Yeah,
him
from
to
the
be the
Maybe she
beginning,
wanted
love
to know if he was still into her.
So just
She wanted confirmation.
just ask him.
Yes, but yeah, I just feel that something in the dynamics between the characters, especially Avik and Gasper, yes, his name, didn't felt real to me. Like something in the dynamics, just in all the dialogues of the characters, just the characters and the talking and all the talking scenes, something didn't work there.
Yeah.
Is it a debut novel?
What?
I think so.
That's her first book.
Yes, it's a debut.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
So
It's a debut.
So maybe
It's
like
written on the
dialogues-
cover. It's like actually written on the cover.
Oh yeah, a stunning debut. Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe they will get better at dialogues and like the pacing, because we talked about the pacing, but for instance, like the relationship for me went from A to Z or whatever in no times, because I feel like just days like happened between they first had feeling or some kind of attraction to the other person, when I feel it was more than days or whatever. So I didn't feel like that the time was fitting the way I was feeling.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like I didn't care from the very beginning, because I didn't have the time to get to know the characters, each one of them, and then to see the growth together.
Yes, like for example, in the beginning already we had the situation with the hand and the guy that was dead, like because of the end. So it was like a very gore and very wow situation, but you didn't know the characters, so I didn't really feel bad for the characters. I really like, again, for me the biggest problem was that in the start I didn't knew enough about the characters. So when she was taken, I didn't care that she was taken.
Yeah, it happened very fast. Like they went to the village, they took her, and blah blah blah. And the village that just gave her away, knowing that she was not a seer.
Yes, and also in the end, the main character sacrificed herself for like this lady that raised her. And when this scene happened, I just was how, like, I understand that there is a way for this to happen. Like emotionally it can happen, she's still the woman who raised you, but there was no emotions in what happened in all of this. So it just felt to me so unreal and so not genuine. It just didn't work for me, because you like this woman gave you for the woodsman, and then you save her, and like if you save her, explain why.
Maybe because she doesn't really have a family.
Yes, so there is reasoning behind it, but I didn't get the reasoning as the reader. I didn't got the emotions. I understand why it can happen, like we can think about it, but I didn't understand it from the pages and from the words. It's only from my head after I read it what I think about it.
Yeah. Also,
I mean, that's
it
fair.
moved so fast. I didn't feel like I got to see that relationship grow as a result of in not really caring about it. Yeah, that's what we said. I would have found Gasper so much more interesting if he had taken his own eye out at his father and become powerful this way. Yeah, like this book about like how do you call that, self-harm? I mean, it was heavy.
Yeah.
Also, I really missed sort of an explanation of how certain parts of the sort of magic works, because Nandor actually has powers, but where did it come from? And it's implicated that it's because of the fact that he died and came back. But I mean, our main protagonist only gets it once she chops off her own pinky and then loses
Yes,
it.
like from what I understand, the thing is that when you sacrifice from yourself, you get the magic back because of the pain. So it's like, I saw it already in fantasy books in the past. I get the concept. Yes, it wasn't explained enough. Like a lot of things in the fantasy element.
But, so at the end, what's gonna be left of your body? Like just your head? Like
You're just like bopping around.
if you keep giving like parts of yourself in order to do things, or to just open your arm or whatever to do things, what's going to be left of you at the end?
Yeah.
Is
Also,
it just
like,
a way to
people with,
teach
like,
you
the
how to
happy
measure?
noses and stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's just like, and you teach that to kids or whatever? Is it a way to teach them that you really have to be sure to use magic? You really have to be in certain situations or whatever? I just like, I mean,
Yes,
it's the
it could
gore, it's
be.
part of the book, but still, like, I was like, what's going to be left of you at the end?
Yes, like I loved the gore idea. I didn't love how it wasn't really deep and like without any depth for me. It could be, it had so much potential, but I just feel like the whole fantasy, it was okay, let's make it gore, which worked, but
Yeah.
without explanations. Like the rest didn't work.
also, in the aspect of goriness, you know what is a wasted opportunity?
What?
Having a bear and it not having torn apart anybody. You have a
Yeah.
bear. You have a literal bear.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool to, I don't know, in the final scene, have this huge epic scene of this bear just, I don't know.
And
That's
wolves.
What?
And
Yeah.
all the wolves coming to help the bear.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And then it's like, oh, that's where my heritage comes from. I don't know.
Yeah, like I still can't get why wolf. It could be a bunny. It could be literally any animal because it wasn't explained. Why a wolf? Why not a lion? They could wear heads of lion.
Or a
Yeah, maybe
deer.
that's from the
rabbit,
forest.
anything. It could have been a chicken. I don't know. It could have been anything.
That's way
I
more
love
impressive
chickens.
than a wolf.
Yeah, and then as you go into battle, you just go,
Yeah, no, it was a bit weird.
Dun, dun, dun.
Her background just didn't match her behavior. If you're being cast aside and bullied all your life, I would seriously think about how I behave and what I say so I won't provoke any bad reactions. But she's just being an all-round mean girl.
I really agree with it, and I didn't really thought about it until now. But you are really, really right. And now that I'm thinking of it, it's maybe the reason that something didn't feel genuine to me from the past and what we learned in the beginning of the book. But yeah, something like in the how the characters act, all of them I felt, not only the main character. We just saw the most in the main character. I really, really agree with it.
yeah.
Something I maybe forgot, at the village of the wolf girls, etc. Were they men? No, right?
I think there were a couple of them that sort of came in occasionally, and then
So
being together was not a thing, I think, but like
So I didn't get the part where her father, being her father, was shameful, while being like.
I think it was more because of the fact that it was shameful for his religion to be with a woman outside of his own
Okay.
religion.
yes.
And then that being like her being of an entire different religion as well. I think that was more sinful than the other way around. But like, I mean, it is mentioned that she has lain with a couple of men, and they were like, "Well,
Yes,
let's
right.
make sure that we don't put a baby in you because you don't have magic." So I feel like it's also a lot like these women just want to reproduce because their kids have magical abilities.
Wait, the man did say that, and she
Yeah.
slept with them.
Yes. Yes, something in the
I think
past
she
and
said
how
that,
the-
right?
yeah. She said that. Yeah, I also remember that she talked like she thought about all the men that she slept with, and that they always were really careful not not to give her a baby because they were afraid, and they said to her that they need to keep it a secret so others won't know that they slept together. But like, yes, like all the past of the character and her personality didn't really connect.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like I missed many details regarding
Yeah, me too. Yeah, also,
behavior.
Also, quick question. In the beginning of the book, she gets her hair dyed. Is it still white at the sort of gray white at the end of the
I
book?
had the same question.
I'm at, or did,
I have a
did
lot
the
of
author
questions.
just completely forgot about that fact?
And also about what you said, like with the nails, that one of the nails were gone.
Yeah.
It was explained why, I don't remember.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was a lot of details that weren't explained, and like, or don't give us those details, don't use them, or explain them. Yes, like it really bothers that we don't know what actually happens to the wolf girls that are taken to the king. Like, until now, we don't know it.
Like,
Oh,
which one? No,
what?
the zombie chicken today. I already watched that.
Oh, the zombie chicken.
I missed that completely.
Me too. Because I was like, yeah, they were dyed in a magic way, so it wouldn't go away. It would grow
Yeah.
that color. So that's what I thought. But apparently, I was really
Mm.
wrong about it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I missed that.
Right.
How come we
This
didn't
is
miss
this is why we have Femke, because she is way more perceptive. Wow.
Yeah. Oh no, I really missed that.
Honestly,
I remember
was-
the scene. I don't remember the hair. Like, I remember it happened, and I remember that she, like, they talked about her not being a seer, but I don't remember a mention about the hair.
But still, that's also an issue because her, like, when she got her hair dyed, it was because there was a purpose to make the people believe she was a seer. But
Yeah.
when the color went away or washed out or whatever, we don't remember it happening. But it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like
It's like Mulan
Yes.
being outed as a woman.
And
Yes.
then just being
Yes,
bossy.
yes. Yes, it was too fast-paced. And I love fast-paced books, but it didn't felt right for it.
I mean, I was paying attention.
yeah, but I mean, if
still
you
didn't-
all missed that
Also-
important information,
Were
Amazing.
these monsters actually described as chickens? Because I completely missed that too.
There was a point where they started as chickens and then they morphed into monsters.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I missed that, I guess. Yeah.
Chicken
I
zombies.
was like, were they chicken zombies just eating out brains? Like, what?
Yeah.
no, there are many shape-shifting animals who are like usual animals you can have in your backyard or whatever that can turn into monsters. But usually, I believe in the mythology, like folklore, etc. It depends on the time of the year and what they are around or whatever. So it's kind of, I don't know, but it's linked to folklore that I know of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also the fact that it just said there's like, well, there's winter and there's not winter. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not how you talk about your own world. Like, if it would probably then be, okay, we have summer and we have winter or something, but it's not like, well, there's winter and then there's not winter. Also, that entire segment at the end with, I think her name was like Catalina or something, or her sort of arch nemesis, where she's like, well, this was probably as close as she would get to thanking me, and then 2 sentences later, it's like, well, this is as close as she would get to apologize. And I was like, didn't she just already say that? Oh no, that was
also
thanking her for saving her life, and that was okay. That was thanking her for not drowning her after saving her. Like, what? Like, this woman was so incredibly, like, I didn't like the main protagonist, but this woman was even more annoying because, I mean, she tormented her half her life, burned her for hell's sake, and then she saves her life because otherwise she would have been sacrificed. And then this woman still goes, well, are you trying to drown me now? Well, after all of this, I probably should. I mean, come
Yes,
on.
it's another character that didn't felt genuine to me without understandable personality. Like, I don't understand why this character acted this way, and I especially didn't understand the dynamics because, again, how the main character acts, it's like this Caitlin was her bully all of her life. She made her life miserable. So I was expecting for different dynamics and just different feeling in their dialogues, and it didn't felt like this.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt very repetitive without like depth into the characters. Just like, I don't know, the dialogues felt really weak.
Also, speaking of repetitive, they travel to this damn tundra thing, ocean, river, whatever, lake thing, where they, in the end, find this eternal bird. They go back to the capital to only a couple days later realize maybe we should go back and actually find the damn bird. It's like, you could have found it in the first place and saved us 200 pages of writing.
Wait, I don't remember that.
Well, they actually travel where they also meet Tula and Sabine or something weirdly spelled in bear. They go to that lake, and she falls into this lake, and Gaspar's like, well, let's get her out because apparently I'm in love with her or whatever. And then he's like, well, we can't find this damn bird, so we might as well just go back to the capital and face whatever justice we are, due. And then they go to the capital, and at one point, this pact gets broken between the king and then AVK, and they're like, well, let's find the bird anyway, and it's in the exact same lake she fell into. Like,
just to add length to the story.
Yeah, it was just very repetitive, and I was like, well, and then the entire sort of finding of the bird was so anticlimactic because it really it reminds me of Shadow and Bone. Like, I'm not going to say anything spoiler-wise, but there's a segment sort of similar to this in there. And that was sort of like really climactic and just, at least when I first read it. And it felt like so grotesque. And this was just like, oh, there's the bird. It's ember-colored, by the way, and now it's dead.
Yeah.
And then this king just eating its eyes. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And
there was something with eyes in this book.
It's either eaten or stabbed.
Yeah, that was weird.
Or missing.
Yep.
Missing.
Also, can I just say, who would ever fall in love with someone who you just saw clean chop off someone's arm, like entire arm, and then sort of links you to this person as they eventually sort of die and fall off their horse, like. And then, I don't know, a couple of nights later, you realize, like, oh, by the way, his biceps look really, really nice from this point of view. Well, he just chopped off someone's arm with those biceps, even though he doesn't know how to handle an axe.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it felt really, I don't know, I felt bad. Yeah, I don't know. I would have loved a timeline because it really felt like it was 2 days after, but I really don't know if it was the case or if just the way I experienced the book, because maybe it was weeks, but we just like jumped from one day.
Know.
After. Still, though, if you saw someone clean take off someone's arm in a month's time, you're like, by the way, this guy is so strong and beautiful.
Yeah, but knowing in what world they're living in, I'm not even surprised because it's their actually everyday life. I want to say, like every year,
like
someone from the village. They don't know what happens to that person. Blah blah blah. It's all very gore-ish. Blah blah blah. So I feel like that really did not bother me that much.
I feel like it happens a lot, like in fantasy, that you have a guy that kills people, and you see this guy kills people and torture people, and there is still a romance, like it happens. The problem is that this character didn't really, like the main character, Avike, didn't really felt disgust, like she felt disgust, but not really. I didn't saw the difference between her hating him and her loving him, like the whole everything that happened in between didn't really happen, like just was
also
so
I think
quick.
the fact that it's just not talked about at all, like in a lot of books, I love the morally gray assholes that kill people. Like I absolutely love them, and I also love the romance in there. But it just in most of those, or almost all of those books, is at one point said by the protagonist, like, I know he's an asshole and he kills people, but I love him anyway. And I feel like with this one, their sins are really put out on display because one of them is turning away from their god, and the other one is so pious that he's not allowed to do things but does them anyway. And he's like, well, you're my sin, but I do love you, just FYI, but you're a sin. And I just that's romantic.
This was weird.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like it at one point I missed that sort of switching point of like that true point of like, well, this goes against everything I thought for, but my feelings for you are so strong that, you know, it was not there.
Yeah, but it was heavily like focused on religion, because whenever he killed someone, he would just go and cleanse his soul or whatever, so he would be okay again. And I was like,
I mean, it's literally like he killed someone and he's like, well, I killed someone. It's like, you are now absolved of sin, my boy. It's like, not how that works.
He's not black anymore.
I did really enjoy that scene though. They're literally that moment that they're in the church or the temple, and this I think it was a rabbin or something, or a
rabbin.
Yeah, he literally just says like, what can I do for you, my son? And he's like, well, I killed someone, and well, I've sinned. And he's literally like, well, you have now been absolved of sin, and God has shown you mercy or whatever. And
religion doesn't work like this.
Yeah, but she's really like, oh, that's that easy. Well, maybe we should ask the dead guy how he feels about this.
Yeah, but in that part, I also expected him to say, I have feelings for that girl.
Yeah.
But
not as pious as you would think he is.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that was quite weird. That was quite weird. But yeah,
that was like it was hilarious at points though. Like it was so gory and over the top at times that was almost funny.
Yes, because you didn't felt a lot for the characters, so like it was funny. Yes, also for me, I didn't feel bad that the characters died and that they suffered because I didn't care for them. So it was more of a funny, like, oh my god, there is chicken zombies that eat them. Okay.
Yeah, but knowing that it is a debut novel and seeing how far the author already went, will you be willing to read another book by now?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would be interested. I think that
I would try.
I would look at reviews first, and I will probably maybe not. Like I would look at reviews, and I don't like. I just didn't. It really bothered me that I'm plot-driven reader, and I still preferred more character-driven. Like I really wanted something that I usually don't really love because I didn't love the plot. Just something really didn't work for me there. I would give this author a chance again if I would see good reviews about her books, and also it depends on the book. Like maybe the book would sound really interesting to me, and I would check it out. Like I'm happy for the author that they I don't know, released a book, and that it's the debut novel, and that's amazing. And I don't think the book is bad, and also the writing is pretty. I do think the writing is very pretty. Just the dialogues and the characters and the plot, something didn't work there, but it's okay. Like she will learn.
The writing is okay, but the dialogues are not okay.
No, like
just listen.
The writing style itself was good. Specifically, the dialogues, the writing there was nice. Like the words they're choosing to use was nice. but the meaning in the dialogues and like the dynamics in the dialogues didn't work. Like I feel that the word choices in the writing was nice. It was like pretty writing, but yes.
Yeah, I'm curious about her next book, but also dislike the author's behavior.
What does that mean?
Why?
What happened?
I do know that Femke told this, but I don't remember because my brain.
Yes. I'm not aware.
Sorry. At least I remember all the important things.
Yeah.
Time to fill us in.
Like I wasn't even going to buy this one, but I got it in my Let Me Create box. So
why? What happened?
Yeah, I really don't know what happened.
Ooh, tell us if you can briefly what happened. But yeah, I don't think I would. I'm not interested based off of this in reading what else the author comes up with, just because like, and I don't trust reviews because it's on a Goodreads award, and I don't know why, but like, I don't think if I want gory horror, there's so many other books I can read. So like,
she's very preachy about how a person should be Jewish and even attack people who thought different than her.
What?
That was it.
Okay.
I remember now.
What happened? You like?
I think it was something about like certain people had certain beliefs and she was strongly against it. I think the way in which she put it out there, I think could have been put a bit nicer if I remember correctly.
And then proceed to play the victim when people told her that you can have different opinions.
That's really
yes, I'm actually not aware of everything.
Yeah, that's weird considering that this book is about understanding different religions and people's like different backgrounds and origin.
Yeah, and it has an allusion to the Jewish discrimination, you know, with the king trying to rule that.
Mergani or something.
Yes. So I understood that way that this one was like the Jewish representation in my like knowledge, whatever. But yeah, that's really weird. That's the very short version. Okay.
Honestly, I mean, I probably maybe would try it out, but probably not buy the book. I'd probably read it or listen to it on script, I think.
Yeah, because of the atmosphere. Like, because the atmosphere was there and because I saw how far they were willing to go with the gore-ish. But even like when I think about it, the writing style, nothing was wrong with it, but I had a hard time with it. And I don't know if it was because of the words that were used or whatever, or just because I didn't care enough or whatever. Because really, it took me a long time to finish one page, even listening to it. So I'm not sure I will pick up something by them unless there is a book that comes up in like a few years or whatever, and that everyone is like really talking about and saying it's really different from that book or whatever. Then maybe, but I'm not gonna look for a new book.
No. Same. Also, is it just me or I missed a bit of sort of translation with certain sort of words and phrases that I was like, it would have been nice if this would have been like what it actually meant. Like, for example, with certain books that have either Arabic phrases in them. So, for example, with, I'm sorry, I'm using this, but The Wrath and the Dawn actually uses phrases from Arabic like Yunam and stuff. And it actually very sort of, how do you say it, very organically includes what it means. And even if it's not immediately at that point, it's sort of introduced a little bit later on. And like the same thing with certain clothing that they wear, it's actually it's using that authentic name and then it's explained what it means. And I feel like that would have also been nice with this book, especially in the beginning, because it's very heavy on the backstory, the myths and everything. And it would have been nice to have sort of a little bit of a, this is where everything sits and this is what everything means.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But I did we get like words that were not translated? I cannot remember that.
I think so. I mean, from what I remember, there's a couple of things that I was like, well, I don't know.
I remember that there was like phrases and like names for things that weren't really explained. But I also don't remember, like I only remember about the coin, that the coin had like writing, but
life,
in
right?
the end, like, yes, she had the conversation with her father, and her father explained what was written in the coins.
Mm.
I honestly don't remember, because usually it bothers me. Like, even like sometimes we're gonna read a book, whatever, and there are like some phrases in French or whatever, which I understand like perfectly, but it bothers me because it's not explained or translated.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I totally get it that sometimes you want the reader to actually look for it on the internet or whatever, but it cuts the enjoyment part of the book because you have to put it down and then look for it or whatever. So
Yes,
when
true.
it's done, as Esme said, like organically, or like in a way that you understand what it means, or it comes up like just a few sentences after or whatever, then okay. But usually it's something that bothers me when it's not like explicitly said, okay, that means that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, there's I read Femke's comment like that. I think there was a glossary, or am I confusing it with a different book? There is a pronunciation guide, but in the pronunciation guide, it actually says what it is. So, for example, it says Aranya, which is gold. But that would have been nice.
Yes.
Like
You have like
Haniko, a healer girl from Keshi. It would have been nice to sort of, I don't know.
yes, I hate
things
that
like
I
that.
need to go and to see. Like, for me, the only thing that I want to stop reading and go seeing is the map. I don't
Yeah.
want to go and see all the guide and what everything means, because it's also like in the end of the book, I usually really hate spoilers, and I don't want to go and to look like for a word and then to make myself a spoiler with another word. So like I
Exactly.
really don't appreciate when it isn't explained enough for the reader.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
certain things, like certain small things, is fine. Like if you just call something currency and then have the word arany or something, which is the word for gold here, and you just say the currency, it's fine. Like it doesn't. It's not everything has to be sort of explained to the point. But I don't know.
yeah,
Sorry.
I just believe like it's nice to have if it's already explained within the book, because nowadays books are not just books, they're also ebooks and audiobooks. So how do you get to the glossary if you're listening to the book?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, like I listened to the audiobook, in the end there wasn't the pronunciation guide. So like if I didn't
The
have the book
pronunciation guide
physically.
was actually in the back of my audiobook, but I'm not going to listen to an entire pronunciation guide.
But no. And nowadays it's not just a book, you know what I mean? So you need to be on top. Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's an okay book, but I feel like all of us had a bit of difficulty connecting to it. Some more than others.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. We cannot love every single book out there, or as every single month. We're not gonna enjoy the pick we have already.
That's okay. We have our next month pick, so hopefully it will be better.
Trust.
I'm scared.
Me too, because I really want to love it. Like I want to love it so much.
Me too.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna love it, but now that I expect to love it, that I put so much faith into that book, am I jinxing myself? Like,
speaking of, by the way, we are reading Midnight in Everwood next month.
This one.
Yeah, I am gonna read the audiobook probably, so I don't have a copy here, but
yes,
exactly
I will read probably both.
No.
I'm gonna do audio.
Jane is holding up. Shall we also announce I can do that in a little bit on Twitter, but shall we announce the theme for January?
Yes. You can already suggest books, and we will write in the Discord and Twitter soon what's the theme.
I will announce it once we wrap this up. But the theme, I hope I am not saying this incorrectly, but the theme for January is Snowy January. And I'm honestly very, very excited for this. I mean,
me too.
All kind of polar fantasy is fun, so there's a lot to pick and choose from. And I will, once we're actually done with, Snowy January. I mean, everybody loves snow. At least I do. It's my birthday month.
I don't have snow where I live.
Oh no!
So,
I love snow. I don't want to drive in it.
I never drive in snow. Like I saw snow a few times when I was like in vacation in Europe in winter. It's not where I live. Actually, there is like once a few years. Like I think there was in the last winter snow in the really north of the country, like really, really north, and we went there, and it was actually cool, but it's very rare.
Mm.
I would
Ooh,
love to get that series.
So
I have it in
please,
French.
yes,
I haven't read
we
that
won't
one.
remember it. So after we will announce it on Twitter and Discord, please be sure to write it because we won't remember. And if you want it to go into the suggestions and the options, please write it.
Or you can also send us a DM so we can put it
Yeah.
on the list.
Yes, just write us
Somewhere.
somewhere, not here, because we won't remember.
Yeah,
Where
because
is
it
not
sounds
here?
good. Yeah, it's a YA fantasy and it's political heavy.
Ooh.
In that case, can I suggest that we reread what is it? Even the Darker Stars by Heather Fawcett?
You can suggest
I
everything.
love it. I would say yes.
Yes. Okay, so I think that we will wrap up like the Wolf and the Woodsman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before
Are we ready?
we will go.
You guys do our book closing. Are you ready?
Oh, look at all those beautiful books.
One.
That's
Yay! We did it.
Finished.
Yay.
Just in time.
Mhm. Yes.
I just noticed that there was a wolf here.
Oh wow! What?
Oh, there
Oh my
is.
God,
And there's
why?
oh, look, the chicken's on the cover too.
Oh, chicken!
Oh my god!
It's probably the firebird, but still, I think it's a chicken.
Yes. Yes, it's like a board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chicken.
Yes. I loved like I didn't understand why it has like a wolf around the person, but now I understand because it's like their suit. So I like
Yeah, the
it.
skin.
Yes, like the cover is really pretty. I do think it gives what the book is supposed to be. Just the book didn't give to me what I wanted to be.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, maybe we
So,
can now
yes.
actually see who the people are.
Yes.
Oh,
Sure.
I don't have it.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's
Oh, it's
Gaspar
pretty.
and Enrique, no?
That is
Yeah.
not how I imagine them in my head, but okay.
I didn't imagine the suit of the wolf to be that big.
I mean, he looks
Like,
a lot
imagine
more
the-
like Nandor in this one.
Yes, I
But that's-
imagine it's more thin.
Yeah, but it's middle grade, so I'm not
Or
sure.
suggest it.
I mean, we can also read middle grade. Whatever's fine, right?
Yeah. Everything is fine. Everything is acceptable. Just suggest us.
I'm open
Even
to
contemporary, guys. Wow, who am
Everything.
But yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
wrap this up. Thank you, everyone in the chat, and thank you, you ladies, for joining me tonight on this and to talk about the books we all feel the same, pretty much, about, which is success.
We
Yes.
did it.
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, so we're gonna announce again the theme for January everywhere. So don't hesitate to share every suggestions you may have. And yeah, I think that's it. We'll see you next month. Do we already have a date for next month? Oh no.
Not yet, but
I mean,
we will announce
probably
it.
the beginning of January. I'm guessing, considering we're in like Christmas falls in the weekend this year, and then you have New Year's. So I'm guessing it will be early January. But
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah, we'll announce everything on Discord and on Twitter and on our channels as usual.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone. I'll see you
Thank
soon
you.
here, and bye.